Hi, hello everyone. I hope you're all okay. Well, as you can see, or as you probably know, actually, especially if you're Arsenal supporters, today we've got a protest planned at the Emirates Stadium against Stan Kroenke and his ownership of Arsenal Football Club. Now, I just wanted to record a video and sort of talk to you about what I think about it all. Um, and Yeah, because I don't know. I just wanted to sort of talk about what's going on at Arsenal and what I think are the issues. I mean, because yes, Stan Kroenke is a massive problem at this club, but his investment at Arsenal isn't a problem. I don't think so. Anyway, if you look at let's look at this current transfer window. This current transfer window, Arsenal spent more than any other club in the Premier League on transfers. And in the last few years, there's only one club in world football who's spent more than Arsenal, and that is Manchester United. So clearly, there's not an issue with the way of his investment. There is a lot of issues about his ownership, and I'm going to talk about those, but he's not the only problem. Every one of these other people that you can see in my thumbnail there, where it says what is wrong at Arsenal, they've all got a big part to play in what's gone wrong at the club. And I'm going to turn my attention to all of them one by one, right? So let's get into it. I've made some notes just because I don't want to have a script, really, but I just need, because of the way my head works at the moment, it don't work very well sometimes, I have to say. Because of the way my head works, sometimes I have trouble remembering everything I want to say and so on and so forth. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's start at the top. Let's look at Muppet number one. Stan Kroenke. Now, the reason I think his ownership of this club is a problem, there's twofold. One, because he doesn't have any knowledge or understanding of football, and secondly, he doesn't care about Arsenal. He just sees Arsenal Football Club as a cash cow. All right, and the proof of that for me is the way that every second week or third week, there's a new lot of merch that gets dropped. You know, they have more lines of clothing than bloody Dorothy Perkins or Marks and Spencer's. It's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, the way that they charge the second biggest, sorry, not the second biggest. They charge the highest prices for tickets and for matches and any other team in world football. The match day experience at Arsenal is the most expensive in world football, and the product that is on the pitch isn't, and it's because the owner doesn't care. So let's go and look about this business about his ownership. Now, he doesn't have any knowledge or understanding of football. Now, the man clearly doesn't, because otherwise, if he did, the club wouldn't be in the mess he's in. And James come in. I hope you're well, mate. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, James. Thanks for your comment. And he's come in with another one, which says that your board are a major problem. They employed Arteta and they also employed those running day-to-day operations at the club, and neither of them have done a good job at all. Absolutely 100% spot on, mate. I completely agree with you. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So basically, with Stan, or silent stand, as he is known by Arsenal supporters. He's got no knowledge or understanding of football, and that in itself is a major problem, because what it means is that he can't see, he's not able to see what's going wrong at the club. Also, he's not there on a day-to-day basis, so he's not getting a feel of what's going on at the club. He has recruited all these people who are in positions of power. None of them, hardly any of them have got any experience. I think the only one who's got any sort of experience is this Richard Chaslick, or Big Dick, as I like to call him. The other one, running one with the minimal amount of experience, is Edu. But that was with the Brazilian national team. The rest of them, no. Mikel Arteta, he was an assistant coach to Pep at Man City before he came to Arsenal. And Vinay, the chief exec, he's never done the job before. And he's certainly never done it at a football club. In fact, he set up a deal, from what I understand, he set up a deal with a company that didn't even exist. I mean, how the hell does that happen? It's just absolutely ludicrous. So the fact that he doesn't have any understanding or knowledge about football, for me, that is a major, major concern. And he's not here. He hasn't got a presence here on a day-to-day basis. So therefore, he's not able to see what's going on. There's no control over all these people. He can't, they are unable, there's no accountability for the mistakes that are made. And he probably thinks that they're not mistakes, because he doesn't understand anything about the culture of the club, the running of a club, or anything like that. It's an absolute shambles. So yeah, that's standard. Now he is the one that's running this so-called process, and for months and months and months, I kept hearing people saying, "Trust the process, trust the process." Now I kept asking people, "So what is this process that we're being asked to trust?" No one has been able to explain to me what this process is, or tell me what it is. So I'm sorry, but if I don't know what a process is, and people keep telling me to trust something that no one wants to tell me what it is, how the hell am I supposed to trust it? It's a fucking joke, honestly. Now, he's recruited all these people, as I said, who are in positions of power. Edu, Arteta, Vinay, Richard Chaslick, all of them, right? And they've got, none of them have got any management experience, right? So when the lockdown, during the lockdown, why weren't these clowns given proper management training, right? Well, what else would they have been doing? James has come in with another comment, and he said, when the likes of David Dean left Arsenal, the decline started to begin. Unfortunately, in this day and age, it's all about money, not just in football, but in general. James, you're absolutely right. Again, mate. And I completely agree with you about that. And I remember the day that David Dean left, I remember asking Arsene Wenger saying that it was a very bad day for Arsenal Football Club, and I think he's been proved right, hasn't he? Really, and it is all about money. That's all Arsenal care about. But what they don't seem to understand, if they had success on the pitch, they'd be making even more money. So I just don't understand it. I just think the whole thing is a complete and utter fallacy, and they're just clueless, absolutely clueless. So yeah, look, as I was saying, when the lockdown was going, I know that Big Dick Richard Sashlik wasn't here at the time. Well, I don't think he was anyway. Why weren't these Muppets given proper management training? I mean, I've seen Mikel Arteta with his management of his squad making absolutely monumental basic management errors. Right now, when I've been employed in the past, I've been responsible for managing teams of people, and I've had the benefit of having I've had the benefit of going on management training, and I've just seen these basic errors that he's made, and I'm going into those later, but it's just unbelievable how the hell has a club or a business even that is a multi-million-pound business allowed a situation where someone's got absolutely no management experience at all. And it doesn't even matter that it's not football related, but basic management skills. How the hell has this not been addressed? You know, in any other line of business, there would be going, right, okay, this guy hasn't got the prerequisite management skills, and they'd send you on training. So I just don't get it. I just don't understand what the hell they're doing. Now, another issue is about the way that the club communicates with the fan base and just communicates in general. Honestly, I've seen organisations in the former I've seen organisations and countries that were part of the former Warsaw Pact communicating with more openness and clarity than what Arsenal do. For example, the KGB, Arsenal, the way they communicate is like it's a state secret to let out that you've got 2 players who've gone down with COVID. Why the hell? What's the problem with telling the truth about that? Honestly, I don't know whether they got some sort of bizarre fetish with withholding information or what the hell's going on. And the big one for me was about when they moved from Highbury to the Emirates, and they were like putting out this narrative of saying, yes, we're moving to the Emirates to compete with Europe's elite. Well, they didn't, did they? I mean, when we were at the Emirates, we were competing on a regular basis at the top table of European football. Since we've been at the Emirates, we've had a steady decline. Right? We're not competing with the likes of Bayern Munich and Real Madrid and Barcelona, and that's what we were told we were doing this so that we could do that. We're now competing with the likes of Burnley and the likes of Crystal Palace. All respect to those clubs, but they're not in the same bracket as, you know, your Real Madrids, your Barcelonas and your Bayern Munichs, are they? Bless them. And then, you know, I remember Paul Merson doing an interview on Arsenal Fan TV where he talked about the club and like how when they was at Highbury, they had world-class players in every single position, right? And they only had a capacity of 38,000. We now got a capacity of just over 60,000, and we haven't got one world-class player. I mean, and he was saying, well, how does that happen? Where's the money? Where's it all gone? And I'd like to know that as well. I'd like to know where all the money's gone. To me, it's got a really bad smell about it. Something is seriously, seriously wrong at this club, and it's getting worse season on season. Now, you look at Stan Kroenke's clubs, sports clubs in America, the supporters of those clubs, none of the supporters of those clubs have got a good word to say about him. That all of them can't stand him because they've seen their clubs run into the ground. And that's what he's doing with Arsenal. Now, the board, they're out of touch. I'm sorry, but they are. They're out of touch. They're not putting pressure upwards to Stan Kroenke. They're not putting pressure on those in positions of power like Arteta or Edu or Vinay or Richard Big Dick Shaslik or any of them. They're not supporting the staff of the club or the management team to work efficiently. You had the likes of Usmanov, who was forced out of the club. He tried to buy out Stan Kroenke, and to be honest with you, I think he was right to try and buy him out. If he doesn't want to manage or run the club properly, get out. Let someone else do it. What is wrong with this man? It's just unbelievable. There's no fan representation at Arsenal. They should have fans on the board. I know there's no law saying it, but I remember a while ago when all this stuff with the Super League blew up, that Boris Johnson was talking about introducing legislation to force clubs to do that, and also to have independent body to oversee the running of football. And I wish he'd do it. I really do, because it desperately needs it. I'd like to see at least one or two fans on the board at Arsenal and every other club in the country. Now, Arsenal board's attitude to their fans is absolutely appalling. I remember the infamous AGM when the board treated Arsenal supporters with complete and utter disdain and disrespect. They refused to answer questions. And it was ridiculous. I remember them, when the people were they were throwing out questions from the floor, they were just going, just go away, we don't want to hear it. It was unbelievable. Now, let's move on to Edu. I was under the opinion that his job was to try and negotiate transfers and stuff like that. So what is he doing? What actually is it that this man does, other than go on about 4 or 5 holidays a year, flip kangaroo burgers, ride on jet skis? It's just unbelievable. We look at the transfer window. We've got 14 players that needed to be moved on out of this club, and then we've managed to sell one person, which was Joe Willock, to Newcastle. And the business coming in, I'm sorry, but I think it's a joke, absolute joke, and I'm going to talk about that near the end. Now, he also, at one point, I remember saying, he kept saying about how bright a future Arsenal had under Mikel Arteta. Honestly, what planet is this man living on if he thinks that Arsenal are going to have a bright future under the management of Mikel Arteta? It's just unreal. It really is. I mean, what has he suddenly developed a skill for remote viewing? And then he made some bizarre statement about fans demanding signings like Lionel Messi, and it's just, honestly, it's just mad. It is absolutely mad. You couldn't make it up. And then we come to Vinay. Now, this Vinay character, I don't know what it is he does at the club. I really don't. I don't know if he's a chief executive. I just don't understand what he does. He just doesn't. What is his role? All these people, and I'm sure they're on really big, fat bumper salaries. To do what exactly? Apparently, I heard a story. I don't know how true it is, but he did a deal for Arsenal, apparently, with a company that didn't even exist. So how the hell does that even happen? And how the hell is he still in a job after pulling off a stunt like that? It is just unbelievable. It really is. Now, the fans. Now, I'm going to come on to the fans, and I'm probably not going to be too popular with the Arsenal fans when I come out with this, but I'm going to say it. I've got real concerns about our supporters and their ability to put pressure on the way the club is being run. I remember a few years ago, I went to an FA Cup game at Highbury, and I hadn't been for a long time. And they were playing Gillingham, and the game was 2-2, and it was getting late in the game. And the ground was dead. It was just dead as a doornail. And I jumped up, and I was trying to, get the supporters to get behind the teams, start some singing off and try and encourage the team. Some fella tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You need to calm down, mate, and sit down." I just thought, oh my God, this is ridiculous. This is a game of football. I'm not at the bloody opera, honestly. And that just sums Arsenal supporters up for me in a nutshell. We had a protest recently as well against Kroenke. And apparently before the protest, Mikel Arteta said, we need to make sure we get behind the players, we get behind the team. It's the most important game of the season. And this protest took place on the day of the Villarreal match at home. And what did the Arsenal fans do? They gave an applause to the team coach as it came in. I mean, Jesus Christ. And there was about 200 people turned up for the protest. It's just embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. They keep going on about, yes, we need to get Stan Kroenke out. And there they all are. They've got the latest merch, wearing the latest merch. They've got their season ticket, which is God knows how much money, in their back pocket. They'll go inside the stadium and they'll spend a couple of £100 on programs and refreshments and all the rest of it. You want this guy out? Do you really think you're going to get him out by doing all of that? Spending God knows how much money on their merchandise and season tickets and refreshments inside the ground? No. Stop it, for goodness sake. So yeah, the fans have got a big problem. There's a big issue with Arsenal supporters. You compare them with other teams, and it's just a joke. So we've got another comment coming from the odd flick. What are your thoughts on Mikel Arteta? Right, I'm just coming to him now. Mikel Arteta, in my opinion, he shouldn't have been given the job in the first place. I remember when he was in line to get the job, I was thinking to myself, seriously, are they going to give it to him? When he was appointed, the club was in a massive mess. And we needed a really strong, experienced manager. Someone who had experience of dealing with clubs in a situation like we were in. Someone who had experience of rebuilding teams, and someone who'd won multiple trophies at multiple different clubs and been successful at multiple different clubs. He hadn't even managed before, let alone done all those things that I've listed. And all he'd done had been a number 2 to Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. Now, just because he'd sat next to Pep Guardiola at Manchester City doesn't mean that he's going to suddenly be an all-conquering, all-dancing, all-singing, superb manager. It doesn't. It's just an absolute joke. So, no, I wasn't impressed with him at all. And the problem with him is that is, in my opinion, I don't think tactically, I don't think he's up to it. His idea of a tactical masterclass is just to throw copious amounts of people into the defence and try and beat teams by doing that. I just think it's pathetic. The parking the bus is the easiest and simplest tactical method you can possibly think of that you could employ. His tactics are boring, they're negative. Let's not forget there was a point for nearly 2.5 months last year where Arsenal only scored 2 goals from open play. I mean, it was just absolutely ridiculous. He's coaching the players, and lots of games, we don't look like we know what we're supposed to be doing. The players don't seem to be able to are able to play together effectively. Sideways, backwards, and you might get the odd pass forward, and it's just unbelievable. Now we've got another comment here from the old school Gooner. Hi there, old school. Hope you're all right, mate. And he's saying that the team has a serious lack of firepower. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think it's, and then we've got the odd flick saying, I think it's the tactics. I think the tactics is one bit of it, but there's lots of other things as well that come into play. There's so many things wrong with this fella. It's difficult to know where to start. It really is. I got serious question marks about what he's doing with these players on the training pitch. I really do, because they just look clueless when they get on the field. I mean, that game the other night against Brentford, I reckon they could have played that game till today and they still wouldn't have scored. And I'll ask anyone who doesn't think it's to do with his coaching, I'll ask you to look at the team and try and pick out one player that's improved under him, because I can't see any. We've got another comment here from James. Arteta should have started somewhere smaller. Arsenal is too much of a big job for someone like him. Absolutely right, James. He should have gone and managed at a League 2 club or a conference level club or something, like someone in like maybe the 5th tier or 4th or 3rd tier of English football, or gone maybe to the 3rd or 4th tier of Scottish football, or gone back to Spain and coached there, but not to a team in the top tier of English football. It's just ridiculous. And I certainly wouldn't wish him on your club, that's for sure, because I know he's well liked at Everton, but not as a manager, that's for sure. And his treatment of youngsters, like, you know, he got Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I mean, I can't understand what's happened with that young lad. I really like him, and I think he's been treated really harshly. Now, we've got some comments here that I've missed. Hold on. Conte, Zidane, Allegri would get Auba, Laca, Pepe firing. Yeah, they certainly would, because look what happened when Unai Emery was here. How he had Laca and Auba like smashing in goals left, right and centre between the two of them. Plain and simple, no point discussing him any longer. Clueless, spineless, gutless, says old school Gunner. Yeah, absolutely right, mate. Maybe Everton would have suited Arteta. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't wish him on Everton, that's for sure. Yeah, James, don't worry, mate. I ain't wishing him on you. I'm telling you, mate. Then before he joined as Arsenal manager, he was linked with us before we got Ancelotti. Yeah, I remember that. I don't know. Do you think he would have gone to Everton? Do you really think that the Everton board would have taken him on? Because I don't think they're stupid enough to do something like that. Then the old flick says, Arteta, Edu and the board need to go. Our transfer policy is ridiculous. Buy high, sell low. Martinez, Willock versus White, Ramsdale. Yep, absolutely. I completely agree with you, mate. 100%. That comment, odd flick, it just hit the bloody nail on the head with regards to our transfer business. Yes, I was going on about Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I don't know whether he doesn't want to play right back, but he could have been Arsenal's right back for years going forward because he was doing a good job. He was certainly doing a much better job than bloody that fashion model, Hector Bellerin. There's another comment here from James. Our owner wanted a Hollywood-type manager. We had Ancelotti only for 18 months, and now we've got Rafa Benitez. Problem is, we're not a Hollywood team. Well, I don't know. I think Rafa will do a good job with you, and I think he could. If he doesn't get you in the top four, I think you're going to come damn close to it. That's for sure. Because I really rate him. I wanted Rafa. He was my number one choice when they got rid of Unai Emery, and I would have taken him as well when they sacked Arsene Wenger. So, yeah, I really like Rafa. I think he's top draw quality manager. Then we got Joe Willock. Unai Emery brought him into the team and he was doing well. And then he went off the ball a little bit. And Mikel Arteta eventually sold him to Everton and went to Newcastle. When he was at loan at Newcastle, he broke Alan Shearer's goal-scoring record, scored 7 goals in 7 games. So if a manager like Steve Bruce can get him playing well, then what does it say about Mikel Arteta? And James has come in and said, what I hope is that Rafa can bring in stability because we are now on our 6th manager in 5 years, which is madness. I think he will bring in stability, James. If he's given time and the board treat him properly, I think he will. I think he's a top quality manager. It's what worries me is if things start going badly or you have a run of poor results, that I think the fans will get onto him because of his links with Liverpool. That's what worries me about it. That's the only way I can see it possibly going wrong. But yeah, I think he will bring stability with you. And I think that if he's given time and the fans are patient with him, I think you're going to have a very successful season under him. And then there's the treatment of William Saliba. I mean, we got William Saliba on about his 6,000th different loan since Arteta has been manager at Marseille. And they kept saying, well, he's not ready yet. He's not ready. He's too raw and whatnot. Seriously? Are you telling me that William Saliba couldn't do a bloody better job than that clown centre-back? What's his guy's name? The clown we got from Bolton. Honestly, I just don't believe it. I can't believe that he wouldn't have played well at centre-back. And then there's Eddie Nketiah. Why wasn't he sent out on loan? I know he's injured at the moment, but why wasn't he sent out on loan to learn his trade? And we're making this mistake now with Balogun as well. He needs to go out and learn his trade as well, and he hasn't done it. I just don't get it. Who's available in our defence today? Well, that's a good question because I've just heard that Ben White might not be playing. So that means that we're probably going to have Pablo Mari, the fellow whose name I can't remember, who he signed from Bolton. This is what I'm telling you about my memory. It's absolutely appalling. And you've got Kieran Tierney, who might end up playing as a centre-back. And maybe Cedric Suarez as a right back or Hector Bellerin. I don't know what's going to happen, mate. I'm really worried about it, to be quite frank. Now, another problem with Mikel Arteta is his arrogance. For me, that is a major issue. It's a major personality defect, and it's going to end up alienating him. I've seen him numerous occasions on press conferences when he gets asked questions he doesn't like. His eyes start rolling, and I remember he on occasion he has actually refused to answer questions as well. Some guy who works for a media outlet asked him a question, and he turned around and said, "No, I'm not answering that." And they said, "Well, why?" And he said, "Well, because I know where that's coming from, and I can see all the people in the background laughing. So no, I'm not answering it." So Charles Watts, that was it. That was the fella's name who asked the question. And it was embarrassing. And then you get the media person going, "Yes, Charles, you got another question you'd like to ask?" And that leads to another problem, is the media. And people that come to cover Arsenal press conferences, they're not putting pressure on them or the club because they're too worried about losing the possibility of getting perks from the club and stuff like that. So they need to be a bit stronger with him and ask him difficult questions. It's ridiculous. Then his treatment of players, his man management, that's another issue. He forced Pepe to apologise after he got sent off at Leeds, right, for grabbing someone around the throat. Xhaka does exactly the same thing, and he gets away with it scot-free. And another player does, like, as a contretemps with that Malpai from Brighton, our midfield player that is now on loan at Marseille, Matteo Guendouzi, and he's bounced out of the club because he tried to force him to apologise. And fair play to Guendouzi, he said, "No, I'm not apologising," and I agree with him. I just think it's outrageous. The man showed a bit of spirit and whatnot, and he gets bounced out of the club. I remember years ago when Tony Adams and Martin Keown were playing, that we'd have rucks nearly every week with different teams. All right, Cross knows what he would have happened if he'd been manager then. Here we go. I've got another comment here. Adam ML, Arteta thinks he is Pep 2.0. I think he does, mate. He even tries to dress like him, but he's far from being a Pep Guardiola. To me, he's more like bloody Mike Bassett, an England football manager. Any of you haven't seen that film, go and watch it. It is absolutely hilarious. Mike Bassett, football manager, is hilarious, and that he's Pep. And this clown we've got as a manager at the moment, Mikel Arteta, is more like that than he is Pep Guardiola. And he kept going on about... Hold on. Yeah, James coming with a comment saying his man management is horrendous. It is, mate. It's absolutely appalling. Absolutely appalling. Like, he got questioned once about why he wasn't playing Pepe consistently. And he said, well, it's because he doesn't perform consistently. So the problem was every time he played well, the next game he got benched. Here we go. Some another comment from the old flick. Yup, killed Pepe, Martinelli, Saliba and Guendouzi while giving chances to Xhaka, Willian and Nketiah. Absolutely. And then he would consistently play players who weren't performing, and then people would defend him saying, well, it's not him, it's the players. Well, sorry, if they're not performing, why are you still bloody playing them then? It's unbelievable. And then Adam ML is going, ha ha ha. I'm glad you're finding it entertaining, mate, because it's painful for me, I can tell you. But yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. And then James Dunlop, I love Mike Bassett. That film was hilarious. He can't be any worse than Arteta. Seriously, mate, I think when they made that film, they based it on Big Sam. I really do. Because I can just imagine Big Sam being like that. And to be honest with you, I would take Mike Bassett and Big Sam over Mikel Arteta every single day of the week. I know people would think I'm off my rocker for saying that, but I would. Now, anyway, I think the case is closed with his man management because it's horrendous. I think Arteta is a weak manager as well because he allows these bloody players to get away with murder. I heard a story from a very reliable source about Kieran Tierney, which I'll go on to in a minute. I just want to read this comment from the old flick. Emery was sacked while 7th in winter last winter. We saw 15th in winter and we didn't sack him then. Why would they now? Well, I know, and I don't understand it. I just don't understand why they're still persisting with this man. I heard a thing the other day saying that that if we lose today against Chelsea and then we lose against Man City next week, that will be 3 defeats at the beginning of the season, and that will be our worst start to a season since 1913, which was when we moved to Highbury. Now, that is bad. That really is terrible. And then they won't sack him because it would show their incompetence. They would rather save face than admit the mistake. I think you're probably right, mate. And the other issue as well is the amount of money they spent in this transfer window. I did have a theory about it. I thought that the reason they weren't really spending that much up until recently was because they had reservations about his management and they were thinking about sacking him. And they didn't want to have to waste the money in this transfer window and then have to use and then go down the whole route of backing another manager financially. But obviously that wasn't the case. So the thing is, though, I don't think he's got much room to manoeuvre. If he doesn't do it this season, what's the excuse going to be? The only thing I think he could come out with now, well, yeah, I need a season with these players. I mean, when is this going to stop? These ridiculous, bloody, incoherent excuses. Sorry about Kieran Tierney. When he came from Celtic, apparently, and as we all know, he's a very committed, hard-working player. He came into the club and he was carrying on like that in training. And a lot of the Arsenal players approached him and told him that he had to calm down because it was too much and it was embarrassing them. To me, Mikel Arteta should have taken those players aside and reprimanded them. Well, that's what I would have done. I would have made it clear to him, in no uncertain terms, that was not acceptable. The odd flick, all too true. I sense that they just want a yes man rather than someone who wants to progress and would challenge publicly. We're going to see more records broken this year. Sadly, mate, I think that's true. And sadly think that's why we wouldn't appoint a manager like Antonio Conte or Diego Simeone, because they just wouldn't put up with it. They just wouldn't have it. The odd flickers come in with another comment. Not the records and the records we want to be breaking. Absolutely, mate. Adam ML, I agree. Yep, I agree with you, mate. Absolutely. Anyone going to the protest? I won't be going. I can't because I'm not very well at the moment. I really don't want to necessarily go into what's wrong, but needless to say that I can't get out of the house because of my illness. But yeah, anyone who is going, please make sure that whatever protest you do, that you do it in a lot of passion, but also that you don't break the law or endanger other people. Other than that, just make sure you put it on the club and all those at the bloody club, and do it for me as well. Adam ML saying, I want to, but I don't think I can make it. Fair enough, mate. But we can all do our protests in the same way, in whatever way suitable for us, right? I have been boycotting the club financially since we came to the Emirates. Right? I haven't bought any merch. That's why you never see me wearing any merchandise with the new crest on it. Sorry, there's one piece of merch I've got. It's a green shirt with the new crest on it. Other than that, you won't see me wearing any merch. Hope we have big numbers. Yeah, so do I, because we need to put it on these owners and it needs to keep going consistently. The All or Nothing series with Arsenal, says James, is what all rival fans like. Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United will be dying to watch, and I'm dying to see it as well, mate. But not because of the same reasons as them. I want to see what's going on, but I can guarantee you it will be edited to the nth degree to make us to try and paint Arsenal in a favourable light, and particularly Mikel Arteta. I hope I don't see a bunch of folks in this season's gear, says the old flick. Yeah, but sadly, mate, I think that's going to happen. I think you will. Are you going to the protest, the odd flick? If you do, put it on them for me, please. And then Adam ML, you'll see plenty, mate. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that's right. You probably will, mate. And you'll probably see plenty of people clapping the bloody bus when it turns up. Now, what else have I got on my list? That's that. Right, there's just a couple of other things about Arteta that I want to talk about. Is he kept saying that he needed his own players. Well, he's now got. I totted it up earlier, and I reckon he's got 19 players that he's either signed or he's renewed their contracts. So he can't use that excuse anymore. He's also said that he needs a pre-season. He keeps banging on about needing the pre-season. The man came here in December 2019, right? So that means that he's had two pre-seasons, and then he was also had the lockdown as well. So he's also had the lockdown. So when we had the lockdown, what was it he was doing with the players? Yeah, I know he couldn't train with them as a group, but he could talk to them and he could explain what he wanted them to do when we started playing games again. There was lots of things that he could have done to get his ideas across, but clearly he didn't. So this crap about, I need a pre-season. He's up with the way football is at the moment, and everything being condensed down because of the World Cup coming up next year, and because of COVID, and that ain't going to happen. And when he did have a pre-season this year, what did he do? He didn't do anything. He didn't there were no major signings made. There were no players shipped out. Looks like he didn't do anything in training with them. It's just an excuse, because I think he knows that his job's on the line. So he's trying to desperately defend himself. So let's look at this transfer window, right? Because this is a major bugbear of mine. Any of you who've been or who go onto Instagram will have seen that I kept posting countdown clocks and stuff saying, well, what's going on with the transfer window? X numbers of days to go, nothing's happening. We spent £125 million, right, this transfer window, and there's no other club in English football that's spent more than what Arsenal have, and yet we haven't improved the starting 11. Well, I don't think so anyway, right? Before the transfer window started, right, we needed a right back and a left back. We needed a central defensive midfielder. This is what I believe anyway. We needed a number eight type player, like a Santi Cazorla type player, a number 10, and a striker. He needed to get 14. He also needed to get 14 players out of our squad. And what's happened? We've got a backup goalkeeper, yes, in the young lad that we bought from Sheffield United, then Aaron Ramsdale. And I'm quite happy about that. I mean, we could have got better, I think, definitely. But I like the guy's attitude. And he's going to add to the homegrown quota, so that's good. Ben White paid £50 million for a centre-back that can't head the ball and that can't play in a back four. Seriously? It's just unbelievable. You couldn't make it up. £50 million for a centre-back that can't header. Are you for real? It's just unbelievable. Lokonga. We bought this guy called Lokonga, which is the best of the signings we've made. And we didn't even scout him. He got recommended to us by Thierry Henry. We got a comment here from Adam ML. 50 mil on Ben White is such a waste. Yeah, well, we didn't even need a centre-back. That's the other issue. Apparently, if you listen to a lot of our fans on Twitter or anywhere else, they'll tell you that we had the best defensive record third best defensive record in the league last year. So what do we need to strengthen the defence for when our midfield is absolutely diabolical? What waste? We could have got Ifasuma. We could have strengthened the midfield and got rid of that clown Granit Xhaka. And then, in addition to Lokonga, we bought Odegaard. Now, Odegaard, he might be a good player in the future, but last year, when he played for us, he scored 2 goals, and I think he had 1 assist in 14 games. I'm sorry, that's not good enough for a number 10. Not at my club, anyway. He'd be good as a backup, I think. But if he was as good as some of our fans think he is, would Real Madrid have let him go? That's my question. I don't think they would have done. Then we got the left back that we signed, Tavares. Now, I've heard that Benfica said after Arsenal had signed him, yeah, he's all right. He's good going forward, but his biggest weakness in his game is defending. Now, he's a defender. So what the hell did we sign him for if he can't bloody defend? It's just unbelievable. Just thank God he's a bloody backup. So yeah, that's the transfer window, and I just think that we wasted £125 million, and that's down to Arteta, it's down to Edu, it's down to Vinay, it's down to Richard Big Dick Shaslik, the whole recruitment team, and ultimately, at the end of the day, it's down to a man who's got no understanding of football and doesn't care about Arsenal, Stan Kroenke, because he is the one that can say, right, what are you doing this for? If we had someone who was in control, who knew about the running of a football club and who had some understanding of football, they would be able to turn around saying, what the hell's going on? What are you doing? What are you signing this one for? That's why I want him out, because he can't see what's going wrong on a daily basis. Or if he doesn't, then he should be appointing a deputy who does understand these things and who is able to see it. And I would advocate the appointing of someone like David O'Leary as a number 2 to him, so that he can bloody call out these people and hold them to account. The odd flick saying for resigning Xhaka alone. Yeah, I mean, it's just Edu deserves a sack after this window, says Adam ML. He does, because what has he actually done? It's just a joke. And the fact that they offered Granit Xhaka, the man who has made more mistakes leading to opposition goals than any other player in the English Premier League, right? And they've offered him a new contract on more money. And I'm telling you, Hector Bellerin will be the next one who gets a renewed contract, because it's an absolute bloody joke. And the reason he's going to get a new contract, I reckon, is because of this like homegrown quota nonsense. So Arsenal's recruitment is dreadful. It really, really is. They've had the money to spend, and to be honest with you, I think they've wasted it. The only player that they've signed, I think it has potential to be any good, is Uncle Albert Sambi Lokonga. And we've got another comment come in, I think. Adam ML says, a fool and his money is easily parted. Absolutely, mate. 100% spot on. I love that comment. A fool and his money is easily parted. Yes, it's so true. And the final thing that I'm really angry about is the way this club communicates, like I mentioned earlier. Arsenal Football Club is shrouded in secrecy and bullshit, as far as I'm concerned. Like, you try and get any information out of the club, and it's like trying to get blood out of a stone, and it's a state secret. Like all this business, like when we played Brentford about auba and laca not being available for selection, and they announced this on the morning of the game, and they just said, "Oh yeah, they're injured, or they've done that was it. They've got an illness." What did they? And then later this week, it turns, I think it was yesterday or Friday, we got told it's because they had COVID. Well, why didn't they just say that to start with? And they were saying, well, they're not sure. And the reason that people started questioning it is because they were saying that they won't even be available for selection against Chelsea. So people were saying, well, what sort of bloody illness is it that keeps them out for a week? So it became clear. People were saying, yeah, it's because they got COVID and all this, and people were left to make up their own assumptions about what was going wrong. So of course, there's going to be all these conspiracy theories and whatnot running around because the club weren't being honest with us. It's just absolute madness. John Nagahu, if we want to bring change, these protests should be sustained. I absolutely 100%, mate. Unfortunately, Arteta will not get any better. So let's be ready for this and respectfully ask it for him to be shown the door. I couldn't agree more with you, mate. 100% spot on. Love that comment. And then Adam ML says, can't trust his club anymore. No, you can't, mate. That's the thing. And I call on everyone, right? Boycott the club shop. Boycott the online store, boycott all the club sponsors, don't go to matches, go on to Trustpilot and Google reviews, put in negative reviews for the club and also for all the club sponsors. And when you do it for the club sponsors, make sure you make a point of saying it's because of the fact they sponsor Arsenal Football Club. And do those sorts of things because we need to fight for our club, man. We might not win, we might not get him out, but at least we would have gone down fighting. That's what I think. FZ says Waffle FC. Yeah, it is Waffle FC, mate. They just talk crap and there's no action. So, yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the show this morning or this lunchtime. If you're going to the game, I hope you get to go to the protest. I hope it doesn't rain because I've heard stories it's going to rain. But thanks for tuning in. And thanks for coming to watch my show. And thanks to all of you for making comments. I really appreciate it. I'm just going to see if I can play my exit video now. Hold on a sec. Oh dear, what's going on here? Okay, so thanks very much, guys, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care, everyone, and thank you very much for your last comment there. Adam, great show. Thank you, mate, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks to all of you for commenting, and I hope I'll see you all again real soon. Take care, everyone. Thanks. Bye. And come on, you Gunners.